Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies. I think we're all ladies. I'm safe to say, and ladies, good. I don't think we have any men moms here today. And if we did, that would be fine. No problem. No judgment, right? That's what we're all here for, no judgment. And we want everyone to be here in the room totally with us this morning because we have some wonderful things to share with you. And we'd like for this time together to be fully worth your time. So we're just going to, now that we have a safe space, just going to establish uh, where we are and being comfortable where we are. So take a few seconds, few minutes and move around in your chair if you need to. Just get comfortable. Close the door if there's a little noise outside. That's right, Elizabeth. Move around and get stretch a little bit, whatever you need to do. And let's take a three deep breaths. This is the way to help you just fully into being with us this morning or this afternoon. So let's do a breath, a count to four. We're going to count to four to breathe in. Going to hold it for four. Breathe out for four. Hold it for four. And breathe back in for four. We're going to do that 3 times, okay? Let's start. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it in. 1, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Lorena, back to you. So Lorena introduced herself. I didn't get there yet. I'm just going to give you a little idea of who I am for those who don't know me.
Yes.
So I currently am in Washington State, around the Seattle area. Some of you I know from this area, even though my home is in Dayton, Ohio. And my husband James and I moved our family to Washington back in 1987. And I worked at the VA Medical Center as a dietitian for many years, worked in the community doing health programs. And that's when I discovered my love for storytelling and Harriet Tubman and presenting her on stage and libraries and schools. And that's what I've done for over 25 years now. I worked at the VA for 30 years. Can you imagine somebody being someplace at 30 years anymore? I know some of my VA cohorts are here and you've done it too. So, but that's not something you hear anymore. So that's an accomplishment that I'm proud of. What people don't realize is that in the last few years, my life has really taken a change, a shift. Check, my husband and I moved back to Dayton, Ohio in 2015. And that's when things start to change. I can't really say what happened, but his personality changed. He became abusive, both mental and physical. And after dealing with it too many times, too many years, 2 years ago, I had to leave the situation. And that's something that is hard to deal with, being with somebody 50 years. I mean, we were high school sweethearts.
Mhm.
That was a big change in my life. Well, that didn't stop me. I've been always one that listened to Harriet Tubman say, keep on going, keep on going. And while I was separated, I wrote my second book about Harriet Tubman. And that's where now I found my purpose to use Harriet Tubman stories to teach self love. And I'm going to share a little bit about how I do this by showing you just a little clip of me presenting myself as Harriet Tubman. I think everybody here probably knows who Harriet Tubman is, and the video will give you a little more understanding of details that not everybody knows about her. By the way, she lived to be 93 years old, and that's something that people don't know. So I portray her as a 92-year-old woman telling her stories. In the video you're going to see, you'll see two young people, my niece Ocean and nephew Sky. And am I sharing my screen yet?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. I'm going to share the screen. I think it's set for me already yet to have the optimal sound. So I'll go to the next slide.
Good. Beautiful.
So I was first before I saw Harriet Tubman. My part is to really talk about peace and joy, and the peace and joy that comes from inside out, and that is how one way you can tell how your self love. Are you really feeling the self love? Are you taking care of yourself? Because you should feel peaceful, and if you can find the joy in your life, you'll know that you're on the right track. So, what can we learn from Harriet Tubman? Let me show you.
Questions for me.
Let me know you can
Whoa,
hear it.
Harriet. I heard you went to Maryland 13
Can you
times
hear?
and came back.
Yes.
How did you do that?
Now, folks are always asking about the Underground Railroad, but most of them don't want to know why I went back. But let me tell you, let me explain it to you. You know, baby, I can explain it to you in just one word: love.
Love?
Yes, love.
I feel like Harriet Tubman had to have self love to be able to find within her the courage, the compassion to do what she was able to do, go back 13 times. She brought out about 70 people. But most people don't realize that wasn't the end of her career. I mean, the Underground Railroad is not all that Harriet Tubman did. You know, she was in the Civil War. After Civil War, she took care of people in her homes. And I just say it has to be um, the importance of self-love and what one person can do. I say look for the joy. If you're wondering if you're really loving yourself and treating yourself as way you should, or trying to make a decision based on self-love and peace, find the joy in it. Think about it. I want you to think about three things that bring you joy. I see some affirmation. Somebody want to share what brings you joy? I know. This is my grandmother, Nancy Webster. Isn't she beautiful? She lived to be 101. She was known as the Flower Lady. On the back of the cover, you see the flower, a corsage. Grandmother made corsages and sold them to people at churches and things. This is my mother next to the surprise, the corsage. She wrote the book, and she wrote a collection of stories, family stories. Grandmother was lived down the street from me, so she was there always, and she was grandmother to everybody on the street. Everybody loved my grandmother. She had flowers all in her yard, flowers in her house, and then she made flowers, and we, the children, her 10 grandchildren, would go out on Mother's Day and Easter, before Mother's Day, in the neighborhood selling corsages. My grandmother was a businesswoman. And I'm the only one that picked up that trait of entrepreneur. And I don't say only one that had the entrepreneur spirit, but I'm the only one that picked up making the flowers. Things like that get lost along the way, you know. If we don't take the time to hold on to what we've learned from people in our compute in our family and pass it down, it can get lost. My grandma was born in 1900. So you can sure there's plenty tribulations in her life. but she had a song. It was her song. It was Glory, Glory, Hallelujah. When I laid my burdens down. That's what we have to all learn to do. At some point in time, we need to lay those burdens down. Lay them down, move forward, and leave them behind. That's how we bring more joy in our life, when we focus on the joyful part and not on what could be bringing us down, the negative. Finding that peace within us is the first step to moving forward in your life and feeling good. I'm gonna make it through this.
You got it,
Self-love
Karol.
self-love is a choice. And as a choice, I was growing up, people used to say, and I think they probably still say, oh, she thinks she's cute. Anybody ever hear that? Well, I think we're supposed to think we're cute. And I got a whole lot of other C words here that we're supposed to think of ourselves. Creative, cool, confident, compassionate, right? We need to think good things about ourselves and not look in the mirror and find the faults, trying to find the things that aren't what we think it should be or what someone else tells us it should be. It's up to us to like we said with the affirmations, it's up to us to massage our inner self, our inner love and joy. So start out with positive and keep it there for yourself. Self love, self space. We talked about the safe space when we started. That's what self love is. And Lorena brought this up earlier that inside, you need that safe space inside. Just imagine this is my goal in life now. I want to use this is my most recent book, The Harriet Tubman Way, Inspirational Guide to Self-Love, Empowerment, and Legendary Leadership for Girls. I wrote this for younger girls. But when I wrote it and reread it, I knew I had written it for myself and us older girls as well. I'm 70, and I just still need to be reminded to take care of myself and to love myself and do what brings me joy, to be able to have peace of mind. So that means no judgment of me by me. You know what I mean? No repercussions of what I might have done in the past that I should be upset with myself over. And unconditional love. Just hug yourself for a moment. Unconditional love. There's nothing like a good hug. Elizabeth, I was with you not too long ago. You gave me a good hug. Unconditional love. Love yourself up. That's so important. Harriet Tubman's stories, to me, explain how that love that one person has. It's not selfish to love yourself. You're supposed to love yourself first because when you love yourself, you're loving the God power within you. And that is so important. Lorena, you mentioned, I think you said one of your daughters was an artist, a painter, or you were. This book cover was painted by my other daughter, Adia, and an interesting story behind it.
Beautiful.
To get the angle for Harriet Tubman to sit in the chair, I took a picture of me in the chair in my dress and my wig, and then she just put Harriet in there. So that's me and Harriet together. Okay.
Wow.
So this event here today is beautiful because we want you moms to love yourself. How in the world are we going to teach our girls to love themselves if we do not exhibit it ourselves? But I have an event coming up in October for the girls. How many of you, show of hands, have heard of the International Day of the Girl Child? I can't see your hands, so in chat maybe, or yeah. Have you heard of that before? I just discovered it last year, and I held an event to launch my book in Dayton, Ohio. We had an event on October 11th. Well, this year I'm doing a webinar so we can reach wide international to bring girls together to learn how important it is for them to be who they are, their own personal self, and be able to bring all their power within out to help change the world. And I want you moms to be there. I want you because it's so important. How many girls are going to sit for 3 hours on a webinar without encouragement from an adult, right? And even though it seems like a long time, it's going to be very interactive. We got a breakout session like what you just went through, a little break there. And we have set it at the age of 12 to 16. But if you have a younger girl to bring, and definitely older girls are welcome. Younger girls should have the mom there to help explain what we're talking about. Because we are the role models, moms, grandmoms, aunties. We're the ones that have to show the way, what it looks like to have joy, what it looks like to self-care. We can do that. So love, peace, and joy is all about finding that place within you that brings you to the happy spot. Us older girls with the younger girls, so we can learn from each other. Because I'm definitely learning a lot from my 5-year-old granddaughter and Tiara, who's here too. She's in her 40s, and I had to draw on these young girls to help me along the way. So again, find your joy. Realize that is the source to help you find your peace and your self-love. Take care of you. Write those affirmations. Say those affirmations. Thank you all for being here. Lorena, did you have any last words?
Um, take care of yourself, Mom.
Okay.